Federal charges for a former school bus driver accused of sexually abusing a teen girl while driving her home.
Y'all would think if y'all put y'all kid early in the morning on the bus, they supposed to be safe. My child...
Her child, she says, was not safe. The victim's mother sharing her story tonight. Good evening. I'm Doug Emblitz. Ginny is off. 74-year-old Tomas Rosario is in custody tonight. He is accused of sexually abusing a 13-year-old girl last month. He was driving for Monroe Transportation, a contractor of the Rochester City Schools. And we spoke with the victim's mother today, whom we are not identifying. As 13 Wham's Carla Rogner reports, she is devastated and shocked this could have happened to her daughter.
Yeah, the victim's mother says her daughter usually rides in the backseat with a monitor. But on March 10th, she says Tomas Rosario pulled up to the victim's house without a monitor and told the young girl to get in the front seat. A parent's nightmare.
My child been suffering. She don't like being in school. She don't go outside.
The victim's mother sharing the impact the assault has had on her 13-year-old daughter.
Since this happened, she's not the same child as she used to be.
According to a criminal complaint, her daughter was picked up by 74-year-old Tomas Rosario the morning of March 10th, and he began having an inappropriate sexual conversation with her. Authorities say the assaults happened when Rosario picked her up from school later that afternoon. The complaint also alleges Rosario gave the victim his phone number, asked her to send him a nude photo, and talked about bringing her to his home to engage in sexual activity. The complaint says he told her not to tell anyone what happened. Authorities say the whole thing was captured on the van's surveillance video. The next day, the victim told her mom what happened.
My initial reaction when I found this out is I really was shocked.
That same afternoon, the complaint says Rosario was seen on surveillance video following the victim into a price right. Authorities say he warned her again not to tell anyone about what happened in the van.
My child went into Price Right to go get some noodles and come back out. She walked into Price Right. Not even 2 minutes later, she was coming out running, ran to the car. I parked right in front of Price Right. She said, "Mom, there he go.
The victim and her mom reported the incident to the police that night. About 4 weeks later, Rosario was arrested on April 13th, and police say they discovered child pornography on his phone. Monroe Transportation says Rosario had worked for the company since January 2018. When a complaint was received in March, the company reviewed the video, contacted authorities, and fired him. Now the young girl is taken to school by either her mom or dad. Her mom is crediting her daughter's bravery for speaking up, and she's worried Rosario could have victimized other students.
I'm very proud of my child to come to me and her conditioner and brought it and able to talk to the investigators and everybody else who took over in this case.
If convicted, Rosario faces between 5 and 20 years in prison. He's expected back in court later this week. The FBI is asking anyone who has information to contact them at the number listed on our website.
Victim's mother says her daughter has not been the same since this happened.
She spoke with 13 Wham's Dalton Williams. We have chosen to conceal her identity. Dalton?
Yes, the mother wanted to share what she and her family have been through and her concerns for her daughter's well-being. She also hopes that by coming forward, that might encourage others to come forward if they've been abused. For a parent, it's one of the worst things you can imagine your child having to endure.
My initial reaction when I found this out is I really was shocked because I felt like Monroe Transportation and City School District was not having my child safe enough when she got on this bus with this pedophile.
She says a parent should feel safe sending their child on a bus to school. But for her, safe is the last word she would describe this bus ride.
My child was sexually abused. My child was touched. My child on a school bus. Y'all would think if y'all put y'all kid early in the morning on the bus, they supposed to be safe. My child was not safe.
She says Rosario would show up early to pick up her daughter, thinking nothing of it until now.
I noticed he used to be at 7:10, 7:15 in front on the, instead of pulling in front of the house, he'll pull in the church parking lot.
So you can see me get dressed or something.
By her window. And we told, at first we thought we took it as it was him just early, he basically not trying to pick her up. But come to find out, he been looking at my child.
adding that since the incident occurred, her daughter hasn't been the same.
My child been suffering. She don't like being in school. She don't go outside. She's not the same child as since this happened. She's not the same child as even the schools notice the different behaviors. Okay, she was finishing goals. She's backtracking on some of her goals.
She says this could have happened to anyone, and she commends her daughter on her bravery for coming forward and telling her.
I'm very proud of my child to come to me and her conditioner and brought it and able to talk to the investigators and everybody else who took over in this case.
Anyone with information on this is asked to contact the FBI. We have a phone number on our website.
Gar joins us live tonight from outside the Syracuse Police Headquarters with more on what she found tonight. Alora.
Matt, the video has many people questioning what happened and why. I spoke with the man who recorded the video as well as a policing expert on how the entire situation was handled. When Kenneth Jackson saw police leading an 8-year-old boy to a patrol car on Syracuse's north side, he says he felt compelled to start recording.
I felt his terror and decided to intervene.
In the video, Jackson accuses police of doing this, all over a bag of chips. Jackson said he felt police didn't handle the situation properly.
There's a way that the police need to interact with kids, and what they did today was completely unacceptable.
But John Jay policing expert Dr. Keith Taylor says after seeing the video himself, police did what they are supposed to, detaining the 8-year-old, putting him in the car, and driving him back home to his family.
You don't see any inappropriate use of force by the officers. They're simply doing their job.
The video shows Jackson yelling at officers to let the boy go, and officers raising their voices at Jackson, saying he doesn't know what's happening. When I asked Jackson if he wished he handled the interaction he had with police differently, he said in some ways, yes.
Maybe I could have toned down my dialect, maybe, yes. The profanity, things of that nature I could have done. But as far as handling it differently, I wouldn't handle it no differently.
Dr. Taylor says that while many times a community member wants to protect any young person being detained, he says in this case, police were doing their job.
Officers will wait for the supervisors to respond. If the supervisor's delayed, they're sitting and waiting there. Meanwhile, the community is getting, more and more people, and they're getting more outraged, and they're fueling their own concerns.
Dr. Taylor says now the focus of the story has changed.
The focus seems to be on a bag of chips and not on the concerns of the store owners, the potential pattern, and the child himself.
Dr. Taylor says the police's responsibility is to get the child back to their guardian, which they did.